This is the first time I'm not doing the intro. And you know how hard that pains me. Not being able to do a nice, lengthy synopsis on the artist that you love. But I know I'm gonna have a lot to say during this video. And, you know, I've already slept through the rumblings of the boogeyman. Bro, I logged off Twitter and I still felt the tweets. I love the cover. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting, but, you know, it's giving off some personal vibes. I like it. Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale, and the Big Steppers. That didn't go how I planned it to go. 5 fucking years, bro. Track 1, United in Grief.
Find some peace of mind. Tell them the truth.
I was about to say, tell me what.
But demon, you better off killing her. What is a relative? Make a repetitive narrative on how you did it first. That is what is a rapper with jewelry. A way that I show my maturity. Waking up morning, another woman. I hope the psychologist listening.
Damn, I thought the fucking song was over. That transition was perfect.
Since I'm because time was imperative. Started to feel like it's only one answer to everything. I don't know where it is. Whoa, popping the butter with clarity. Whoa, going I'm flipping my time through the roller day.
Wow.
Indulging myself in my life and my music. Right, none of my enemies hold me captive. I grieve different.
What?
Practice 500 in jury, chain was magic, never had it in public, late reaction, never swam in. I watched King my 4 cars in 4 months, you know the family dynamics will repeat. They buddy peace treat, you won't do me, I smell TNT, Dave Gentleman.
Oh, the fucking instrumentation. You can never go wrong with the piano ending, ever. I like that track, especially for an intro. When it first started, I didn't really know, you know, where he was taking us, you know, especially when it started switching to different instruments. I love all the different intricate pieces of instrumentation that Kendrick pays attention to. This kind of reminds me of To Pimp a Butterfly, where you can tell he pays so much attention to every little intricate piece of music that was being added to the project. And this is what's shaping up to be a project like that, where it's not the same as To Pimp a Butterfly. Well, I don't know what it's gonna be because I haven't heard it yet, but, you know, just off the first track, I can see, you know, that's where Kendrick is going, because, you know, when you look at Damn, it was more of a, okay, boom, here's a beat, let's go. Even though the beats were, you know, a little bit different than, you know, what the average rapper will rap on. He's also trying to push his limits artistically still, because we haven't heard this from Kendrick, even on To Pimp a Butterfly. This is just, you know, a 2.0 of that. I like how he started the album off from a narrator point of view. It gave me that little, you know, cinematic feel. I liked in that verse where he was talking about how he's in therapy now, and, you know, he's been going to therapy for a while. To me, it seems like every verse after the first one, he's talking about all the things that he's indulging in, you know, when he's grieving. You know, he goes and splurges a little bit. What makes this song so good, in my opinion, is that the chorus, you know, brings the title full circle for you as well. You know, we grieve different. I grieve different. I like that track. It sounds more and more like Kendrick is going in a more live band instrumentation kind of feel. Because that, you know, that production sounded like a live band. It didn't sound like nothing that was, you know, created in the studio. Track 2, N95.
Girls, I got some true stories to tell. You're back outside. Whoa. Yeah. Take off the foo-foo. Take off the cloud chase. Take off the Wi-Fi. I'm taking steps, then I'm taking off top off. Take off the fabricate streams and the microwave me.
I'ma take 10 steps. What are you up to?
Take off the Cairo. Take off the sandal. Pay 5 days stay. Take off the meal. Have a fire. Take off the unload. Take off the unsure. Take off the solution.
Take it off.
You ugly as fuck. You out of pocket. Who you think they talk about? Talk about us. You out of pocket. The prophets have been at the Lord take advantage. The market is crashing.
Yo, is this the DNA of Mr. Morale? Is that what this is?
I want to say that they tell me my secrets say I am too real. I'm done with the sensitive, taking their personal, done with the black. Who you think? Come here for us. Serving up for love, dancing in a job. This bullshit. Tell me what you doing.
Niggas out of pocket. Y'all niggas out of pocket. I really like the production on that track. The sense during the breaks and the beat kind of remind me of Kanye's Graduation when he was doing that whole sound. First thing I noticed while listening to this, was the production. Of course, the production was crazy, but I think I already said that. Does Baby Keem sound that much like Kendrick? or is it vice versa? Because in the chorus right there, I couldn't tell if that was Baby Keem or Kendrick. Honestly, I couldn't tell. What do you think they talking about us? It's a lot that Kendrick said in this track that I think is gonna be overlooked just because the beat was so great. It was great. Like he said something like, "Oh, the industry makes a mockery of artists." I like how he starts off the track, you know, say take off the foo-foo, and then names everything that he thinks is foo-foo. Car loans, you know, he thinks the jewelry is foo-foo. It's seeming like Kendrick didn't come to play with people because, you know, every verse on this project so far, I'm only on the second song, but no verse has had the same flow on there. He's already experimenting with different flows on every verse. You know, I think I said that twice. The cadences, the delivery, like, it's like this dude never left. He never left. That Oprah reference was kind of funny too. You know, they try to cancel Oprah every week. I'm gonna go back to it a lot. I already know that just based on, you know, the lyrics, production, the delivery, you know, everything about it. It's just a good song in my opinion. Damn, bro. I agree with Kendrick. Take it off. Track 3, Worldwide Steppers. Hey, bro, these titles, bro.
Kodak Black. Okay, Llama.
Huh? Yeah, getting some,
I'm a killer, he's a killer, she's a killer bitch. We some killers walking zombies trying to scratch that itch. The man of God playing baby shark with my daughter, watching for sharks outside at the same time. Life as a protective father, I kill for my son Enoch is the part 2 to make higher values in this present moment.
First of all, the flow is crazy. I don't know how he just did that, but damn. Okay, that just confirmed to me who was on the cover now. His daughter, his son. You know, because we never see them, you know, rightfully so. But watching Baby Shark with my daughter, you know, I'll kill for them. I'll kill for my kids. That kind of explains the cover in my eyes, though, you know, just to get on the serious tip. Him looking out the window, holding his daughter, the gun in the back of, you know, his waistband. That's painting a picture for me as far as the cover goes.
Body for comfort. I don't pass judgment, past life regressions. Keep me in question. Where did I come from?
What the fuck? We in it. We in it. Fuck it.
When he asked that I have a problem, I said I might be racist. Ancestors watching me fuck was like we
I'm definitely running that back.
There was a win-win because he had locked up Uncle Perry. She paid her daddy sins. Next time
I missed that part. Got one, coach.
what the 8 billion people on earth, silent murderer, corporate in school, teaching philosophies, killer psychology, silent murderer, what's your body count, who your sponsorship, objectified.
I was enjoying that.
Everyone's sensitive. If your opinion fuck around and leak, might as well send your will. The industry they poster, slaughter people too. Your murder's just a bit slower. I'm a killer, he's a killer, she's a killer, bitch. We's a killer.
Ancestors watching me fuck was like retaliation. When the song first started, I was like, damn. I wasn't expecting to hear Yak this early. Kendrick talked about a lot of stuff on this song. I was kind of expecting that, being that the production was so bare. You know, he wants us to hear everything he's saying. He was kind of like writing it as if he was writing to himself, but also, you know, letting us know how he's feeling right now. And I'm actually glad because this is what I wanted from Kendrick. Lets us know that he has writer's block. He had writer's block for 2 years, and he asked God to write through him. So that's what we're hearing now on this project. Talks about how media is a new religion and how people follow headlines more than, you know, they swear to what they believe in or they say they believe in. What's crazy to me, though, is that Kendrick can go on the whole verse talking about how he found out he didn't like white women, and it sounds so conscious. I like the part of the song where he said there's 8 billion people in the world, and he started naming off all the silent criminals, nonprofit organizations, churches, priests. Well, I mean preachers. I'm not gonna say priests because they're not criminals. But yeah, just as an actual song off first listen, it was cool in my opinion. He definitely said a lot on that track, a lot of things that I gotta catch going back listening to it. But at the moment, you know, it's cool. Track 4, Die Hard, featuring Blast and Amanda Reefer. Ooh.
Set my demons straight. You know I made you wait. And if it's up, stay down for me.
He sound great.
I'm a diehard, it gets ugly. Too passionate, it gets ugly.
Kendrick is using his voice in ways that he's never done before. Just the different vocal inflections that he's adding onto his voice. It's great, and you can see the growth and, you know, what he's trying to give us. You can already see why he's been gone for 5 years, especially in the lyrics and how he's presenting them to us.
We all got enough to lie about. My truth too complicated to hide now. Relate, but not have fate. A little
This hook is my favorite part of the song. violin is always perfect. Always. I love the feel good vibe of this track. It's almost like dancehall, but not really. It's almost there. In this track, it seems like Kendrick is talking to us about how he was hesitant to open up to the woman that he loves and, you know, just be truthful with her, something that a lot of men struggle with. He also talks about how everything that's been happening in the outside world since he's been removed reminds him that the world isn't perfect and that, you know, there's still some things out here that need fixing. You know, with him being in such a secluded little bubble, big bubble, I should say. I mean, this nigga's rich. I feel like Amanda offered up a good post-chorus, you know, while Blast delivered some infectious vocals and a great hook. I feel like Blast carried a lot of this track, being that, you know, Kendrick was rapping about what he was rapping about was sort of like some background noise because he wasn't necessarily rapping about anything spectacular. He was just letting us in another door that we've been locked out of for 5 years, letting us know how he's feeling, you know, within his family life. I, in my humble opinion, just feel like when you end a song off with a violin, it's equivalent to like a saxophone, isn't it? Because I mean, it's just a cheat code. It's perfect every time. Track 5, Father Time, featuring one of the GOATs, Sanford. Story of my life.
And I got daddy issues, that's on me. Everything them four wants to tell me, but not enough to keep me past the streets. My life is a plot, twisted juice, all across my head. Tell me fuck a foul, I'm teary-eyed, running on my hands. I don't think I'm out this. Oh, this the part where mental stability meets challenge. Oh, this the part he breaks my
Practicing on day off, self-love, bubbles up, no chase on me, no chase on me, no chase on me, no chase on me.
GOAT hook already.
I got daddy issues, that's on me. Looking for our loving, ready empathizing for my relief. Proud about it, he surely tell me not to be weak. Daddy issues, here never express
relate.
yourself. Protect yourself, trust nobody. Only your mama knows. This made relationships seem cloudy. Never
Proud of this shit.
Kanye got back with Drake. I was slightly confused. Guess I'm not mature as I think. Got some healing to do. Egotistic, zero giving fucks in a
Guess I'm not mature as I think. Got some healing to do. What is he saying? Is he saying he hasn't reached that point of forgiveness where he's able to forgive somebody, or even, you know, reach that hand out and say, you know, for business? Come on, business. I know people go crazy over that line.
Mine is made of gold, and your tongue is made of sword, but it may weaken your soul. My niggas ain't got no daddy. Shit about being a man in disguise of that beating gangster. I love my father, so tell us everything he didn't want was everything I was. And to my partners that figured it out without a father, I salute children. Let's give the women a break. Grown men with daddy issues.
Oh.
Don't chase on me, don't chase on me.
That song was amazing. The production, the Sanford hook, the depthness in the verses. That's a perfect song in my opinion. I'm not jumping off a bridge with that one. I just love how Kendrick is plastering therapy all over this project so far. We got it again on this record in the beginning with him having a conversation with somebody. I don't know if that was with somebody or just to himself. Somebody telling him he needs therapy, but he's saying, nigga, I don't need that shit. But you can tell that he's acknowledging the fact that, you know, he didn't want to go to therapy. You know, he's not fighting those things that he's saying that he's fought in the prior songs on this project where he's talking about, oh, I gotta be truthful to myself, not just to people out here, but just to myself in general. And that's what this album is shaping up to be. It's like a diary for him, telling us why he's been away for so long. And he's letting us in that door. Something that I wanted from this project. Like I keep saying, I wanted him to tell us why he's been gone. Like this is just perfect songwriting, man. Because in this song, Kendrick is talking about all of the things that his dad taught him, while also making those things seem bad, while also justifying them. He talked about how his dad is the reason why he doesn't take losses well, but also says his dad is the reason why he's so competitive. Like the oxymoron in that. And even within all that, that doesn't seem like that's the focal point of this song. The focal point of this song is to shed light and give the nod, so to say, to men out here that never had their daddies or never had their fathers. Although he's making the things that, you know, his dad taught him seem like they weren't the best, he still is acknowledging the fact that he had a father and he had someone to point him in the right direction, so to say. Sanford, bro, like where you been? That's my favorite track on here so far. Track 6, Rich Interlude. I love what Kendrick do interludes.
Making horrible decisions, you know.
Is that Yak again?
Who ever knew that I become a fucking Kodak? You know?
Yeah.
Good, but
Yeah.
still playing. And respect come first. Yeah, you know, can't be better than the OG. You gotta get it somewhere. We ain't even empty-handed. That's on game. That's on Mud Dukes.
Yeah. You know what? Even though I have a lot to say about this interlude, and I feel that it was amazing, and I relate to this more than probably anything that has been put out, you know, all year. You know, just this piece right here. It's the cinematic imagery that Kodak was able to put forth with just him talking. Even though I like Kodak, it doesn't seem like he's been in this space in forever. You know, ever since Dying to Live. That's the last project that I liked from Kodak. I actually love that project. The special thing about this to me is that with what Kodak gave us, it seemed like Kendrick just told him to do your thing. Gave him a little notepad and just told him to write some shit down. Because this album is coming off as a sort of longer, more cinematic version of what Kodak gave us on this record right here. Self-reflection. But he made it sound so good. And the suspense with the instrumentation, great interlude. And it's great that Kendrick is giving Kodak this love. I remember them pictures coming out with Kodak and Kendrick. I didn't think nothing of it. But this is what we got out of that. You know, Kendrick don't meet up with niggas for no reason. But you can tell it was coming from a real place. And that carries a lot, you know, in records. Track 7, Rich Spirit.
I pray for, cause you bitches ain't never been cool. More than 2 M's for sure, but add another 2. Little man,
What? Talk that shit, nigga.
Strong. Stop playing with me before I turn you. Stop playing with me before I turn you to.
I'll snap with you.
Another space, ask me is she okay? Never mind 100K, why you lying on Benjamin?
That little voice in the background is really comforting to listen to. I like that sound. And the whole vibe of the track is giving atmospheric vibes. I keep saying atmospheric ever since I started this channel. I still haven't looked up if that's a word or not. But yeah, just the whole atmosphere around this song is very relaxing.
Never live my life on the computer. I actually get you life for a chickabooya.
Me neither.
Distance. Why you always in the mirror more than the bitches? And my cousin tried to say
Hey, he calling out some of y'all. Some of y'all dudes that be. No, we can't do that. And your shirt can't be off too. Like that literally always interests me. Like you have to be sitting in the house and just like it gotta be snowing outside or something. Cause there's no way I'm sitting on my couch just saying picture time.
can't fuck with you no more. I'm fasting. Bitch, I'm a
I gotta use that line.
We dress up this one, give me that brother. Spare me on.
Oh, this the brother flow?
I turn to a song. Stop playing with me for
That hook called me. See, that's another thing. He's speaking facts. Even though a lot of this stuff has been said before. That comes with you being gone for 5 years, so it doesn't really hit like it would like on the Ten Paper Butterfly, where he was saying a lot of things that haven't been said yet. Stop posting when, you know, something bad happens in your life. You can if you feel like that helps you, but you know, I never really got that. You want sympathy from people that never even met you. Grieving is way better offline and off timelines. I promise you that. You know, because these people really don't care. Let me first start off by saying on first listen, this is my least favorite track on the album as far as like how I feel about it at the moment. But again, I really like what Kendrick was speaking about in this song, and how he's talking about how he's had a struggle with how he looks at fame and celebrity, views on how social media is going or how people act on social media. To me on this track, it just seems like Kendrick is trying to get out anything that, you know, he hasn't said over the past 5 years that he's been waiting to say. Cool track in my opinion. I don't know whose vocals those were, but those vocals were beautiful. I know it wasn't Kendrick, so, you know, let me know whose vocals those were. But still a cool track though. I feel like it's kind of hard for Kendrick to make a bad song with how expensive this album already sounds. Track 8, We Cry Together, featuring Taylor Page. We got some old school 1970s horns on this joint. Ooh.
This is what the world's.
Fuck you. Fuck.
He is not about to fucking rap over this. No.
Ass bitches, unstable ass, confrontational ass, dumb bitches.
Always act like your shit don't stink, motherfucker. Grow up.
You must be bleeding in some more shit. Bitch, I don't know shit. Fuck your feelings.
You want
Oh my God!
to miss me with that reverse psychology.
Man, bitch, you tripping. Who got you that rolly chain?
Bro, I relate to this shit so much. Oh my God.
Wasting my time and energy.
You definitely can't play this nowhere around kids.
And I held your ass
You
down.
just cut me down. That's a big difference.
See, that's what they always try to run to. You keeping me down. Yeah.
But you was sucking this dick though.
Well, shit, I should've sucked in.
What you say?
I should've found a bigger dick.
Bitch, get the fuck out my face.
Bro, this is so fucking genius. He's doing a full out play in a, oh my God, he's doing a full play in a song. We've seen Kendrick do that on all of his albums, but not like this. I don't think nobody's ever done it this successfully. I don't see how you couldn't relate to this if you've been in some of these situations or a situation like this. It don't got to be the exact same. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not the exact same for me. You know, because if I would have said, fuck you, bitch, 15 times, I probably would have been killed. I hope a lot of people are recognizing the creativity that goes behind this. Taylor Page, I remember you. I remember the names. I watched a lot of TV shows. You was in that, what was that cheerleading show? I can't remember right now, but she's showing her ass on here. I mean, another gig coming.
I'd rather fuck on your cousin.
Bitch, you said you gon' fuck who?
You heard me, nigga.
She said some hurtful
You
shit.
know what? Fuck you, bitch.
This is some hurtful shit she said. You know what I'm noticing about this song? Whatever we say to a female, it's not gonna hurt. Like, y'all can go deeper than we can go. Like, the women can go way deeper than we can go. They hurt us to the core. The shit that they say, oh my God. Some women just don't have no remorse for the heart.
You the reason bitches start calling y'all bitches cause y'all useless. You the reason all
Intended. Y'all sentiments ain't really then what you defended. It's a split decision.
He talking to a lot of people right now.
nigga.
I'ma fuck you, bitch.
Nah, fuck me, nigga. Fuck me.
I'ma fuck you, bitch.
Nah, fuck you.
Yeah,
Nah, you playing.
yeah. That's how it is. This song right here gonna win a few Grammys and whatever other awards that they can throw at it. This was immaculate. This was amazing. This was stellar. I don't know what other words I can use. I don't think I've even respected Kendrick to the extent of thinking he can put something like this out. This is just pure art. This is what goes into being a pure artist. This is what that entails. The way Kendrick was able to make this song so relatable to everybody that's going to listen to it and be able to get his point across on such a sensitive subject, it's kind of crazy, man. Like the way he disguised that. He's also trying to get other things across in this track on how he feels about, you know, so-called feminists. This was just genius. This is genius in all aspects of the word. And this is why Kendrick is one of my favorite artists, because he's able to put something like this together. I'm standing on it. This is gonna win a few awards. I don't know which awards, but if this don't win a few Grammys, then it's rigged. They still gotta make up for that Macklemore shit. I'm not over that. Track 9, Purple Hearts, featuring Summer Walker and Ghostface. I like how all these songs are taking a while to start. It brings in that little cinematic feel.
I be the source, then I am the plug talking. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Got the fast with you and fuck it up. Fucking with skirts, cause I'm rational. A nigga still gon' be a nigga. I'm not in the music business. I've been in the human business. Whole life been social distance.
Kendrick has never really played a big role in the whole social media wave, even though he blew up during the time social media was going crazy. I feel like that's just some more props I gotta give to artists like him and J. Cole, being able to stay so far away from social media but still have that ingrown fan base, you know what I mean, that love them to where they're still gonna listen to everything you drop.
Them hoes is sorry, they are with your mind exact. Patient life, flaws bless them twice, and that bless you back. Baby,
Oh, that scheme. She sound great. That's funny. She said that. I really don't have no problem with it, honestly. You know, niggas grown.
Here is love talking to the mind is God's cipher divine in a small portion. Mention my good deeds in front of your door. I'm standing by the entrance where heavy bag is my brother.
rolling sevens, I ain't ready for no coffee.
I love the production. It's great production on this project so far. It's very different than anything he's done before. I love the heavy drums and the soulful synths that bring a lot more out of the production as the song goes on. So far on this album, Kendrick has basically touched on a lot of the things that I wanted him to talk about on this project. Why he hasn't been in the public eye for so long, or, you know, why he doesn't do music with different rappers, or, you know, he answered that right on this track right here. You know, they move funny. It really seemed like Kendrick hate the whole culture of Instagram. You know, he mentions that a lot in his music. Ever since Damn, he's mentioned that. Kendrick said something interesting in this song along the lines of, I'm not in the music business, I'm in the human business. I'm guessing when he says that, he means he's made working on himself as a priority over, you know, his actual work, which is being an artist and being a rapper. Only thing I would say I didn't like about this track per se is that I wish that he would have put Summer on the hook instead of it being him. I know what Kendrick does isn't really singing, I would call it, but the vocal inflections he's using, the way he's using his voice, it just comes off a little flat on this track. Even though I like the production and what Kendrick did with the overall song, I just think that could have been swapped out. Summer's verse was a little toxic too. It was very thought-provoking, and that, you know, I think I know who she's talking about when she says baby daddy. You know, London caught some strays, but it's all good. He always gonna catch strays. She came off as a little more than just an accessory on this track, and I like that Kendrick used her in that way. I actually really like the Ghostface edition too. I just feel like that he brings a presence on a track that can't be duplicated by anybody. Damn, that was already the first diss? Jeez. Song 1, Count Me Out.
Make it difficult. One of these lives, I'ma make things right with the wrongs I've done. That's when I unite with the father, son. Till then I fight. Magazines that's aimed at me, done. Every magazine was fame to me. It's a game to me with the bedroom magazine. I ain't never had a fair when the hearts and the words don't reach. What's fair when the money don't take things back? What's rare when somebody take your dreams back? I'm a complex soul, they layer me up, then broke me down. And morality's dust, I lack in trust. Out, fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up, fucking it. How you gonna wear my shirts when the lights run deep? Bad don't fall off. Ain't nobody but the mirror looking for the fall off. You count me out.
I love when you count me out. Ooh.
But the woman I know, that's my baby. I know. Many find ain't life in the phone. Fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up. You love me. Then change the story. Then change the story.
That's what they do.
I put it on my ego, Lord and fall lost. Sometimes I fall for. You see, I'm a wreck, let me loose.
Cut it out, nigga. Bro, the more I listen to this album, the more it's coming off as a personal diary, because every track on here, it just seems like he's piling on to things that he regrets or things that he doesn't regret. Kendrick starts off this song talking about how he loves when people count him out, but earlier in the album, he talks about how he focused on that a little too much. He focused on what other people thought of him, focusing on a lot of the things that was happening around him rather than focusing on himself. He had another great line on here that I wanted to touch on. Oh, he said that his ego was the reason for a lot of his failures, and it's not the devil. He's holding himself to a certain standard now. You can see a lot through this album that he's putting blame on other people, but also taking accountability himself, aiming on his big ego with him being this big superstar and not being able to handle fame at certain points. The overall production on that track, I loved a lot. You know, it was more of an upbeat feel, the same as N95. Really the only upbeat, up-tempo production that we got on the album since then. Track 2, Crown. More pianos to start off.
That's what I call love.
The suspense.
I can't please everybody. No, I can't please everybody.
You can't.
You say no, and love you done. Give them everything.
For real.
I can't please everybody.
He's saying this a lot, so he's letting niggas know.
I'm sure it won't something else.
God, but that shit just got better and better. See, I didn't even like that track at first, but then it built it into something. Oh, I honestly didn't, because I felt like it wasn't much happening within the instrumental. There was a lot happening within the lyrics. He's telling us a lot of shit. The way he built this particular song, it was like a movie. You know how a movie has the start, of course, then it has the climax, then you have the downhill part. I forgot what the downhill part was. I didn't do good in school. Him having this crown on his head and him being the head honcho and him being the breadwinner for a lot of people around him, it's seeming like he has to please everybody. And me, myself, I know that feeling of you feeling like you have to take care of everyone, feeling like you have to make this person feel better. That comes with you having the crown, with you being the breadwinner, with you having all this wealth and you being this blessed. But I don't think that a lot of people around him, just the way he's expressing it, notices that that's taking the toll on him, that he can't please everybody. Off first listen, I do like this track a lot, being that it's something so personal coming from Kendrick, like this whole album has been. Silent Hill, featuring Kodak.
Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why you keep fucking with me?
Yo, it's been a lot of that on this album. Kendrick questioning people around him. Like, why are you still fucking with me? Why are you still with me? The transition. Ooh, ooh.
Push these niggas off me like, push these bitches off me like, push these niggas off me like, I'm pushing the fakes, I'm pushing them all on me like, now you a joke, my ass is a close, I behind your money, dog. A week or two, I meditate on running lost. First, shake the currents off. Yeah. Push these niggas off me like, push these bitches off me like, push these niggas off me like, fakes, I'm pushing them all on me like.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Bitch, you talk too much. You making it awkward up.
Don't fuck with me even if they could. Ruby diamond on my pinky finger, that bitch look like a Reebok. Money on my mind, money on your head, ain't right.
It look like what? No. You're not getting away, Kodak. This is Kendrick. Ring pop. That's better than what I thought he said.
Look like Marcus. All of my water, Uncle beating the block until
He eating this. Everybody gonna be saying pushing off these niggas like hood. It's funny that in this album, this track is the one that reminds me of 444. This is Kendrick Lamar's 444. We get a lot of mention of his kids on here, his wife, the relationship that they have or what they've been going through. To me, this album is so personal that I can't even believe what I'm listening to, because Kendrick has never opened up this much to us. He's always been so open but so closed off at the same time. But even a track like this that stands out so much on this project because it's so trap based still comes off so organic and personal. I still feel him on a track like this. Even though Kodak took up a lot of the song, I feel like that was the design of it. But Kendrick to have like a small intricate first verse and chorus, and then Kodak just do what he do. I like how he let Kodak do what he do on this album, and it's not like it's something too scripted. I really want to know why he chose Kodak to put in place on this project, because it's a lot of people he could have chose for this position. One of my favorites. Track 4, Savior, Interlude.
And you develop a sense of self that is based on the bad things that happen to you.
You ever seen all strolls in the county jail visits? The first and the 15th, the only religion. This year I did 43 shows and took it all home to buy him a casket. Jack of all trades, got money, only had one chance, I ain't even wasted. Been down on my luck.
You really have one chance. I mean, because Kendrick is your cousin now. I'm liking in a lot of these tracks on the album, well, not a lot, but in a few of these tracks on the album, that it's minimal instrumentation in the background, so you can hear every word they're saying. The lyrics are the focus and not the production.
Body, who gon' stop me? Baby Keem is too wild. Functioning at the temple, Jesus.
Baby Keem is really getting pushed to the forefront by Kendrick, and this track really just clarifies that again for me. At the start of this interlude, it just seems like Baby Keem is listing off all the things that he had to struggle with coming up in the hood. You know, mom strung out, seeing blood on the highway on a random day, noodles in the microwave. That line hit. I ain't gonna lie. I still do that. I actually thought this interlude was taking me somewhere, but the more and more he started rapping and going on and on, it sounded more and more like rambling. To me, it seemed like it just wasn't a specific point to get to on this track. We started to list off miscellaneous things that, you know, he went through or is going through at the moment. It wasn't really an ending to the story I was looking for. But this is just the interlude. So I'm guessing this is an appetizer for the meal that we about to receive. Just like how Rich was for Rich Spirit. Track 5. Savior, featuring Baby Keem and Sam Do. And that's crazy, bro. I haven't seen Sam Do ever since that song with Wale. Give me love.
Kendrick made you think about it, but he is not your savior. Cole made you feel empowered, but he is not your savior. Said get a money counter, but he is not your savior.
That's interesting coming from Kendrick. Kind of giving me a No Role Models vibe. What Cole did on Forest Hills Drive. Seemed like this track is about to get to a similar point.
Black, like it when they pro-black, but I'm more Kodak black. Tell me where the money at. CC. Wait a minute. Ben Aki, c'est la vie. Even blacked out screens and call it solidarity. Meditating in silence makes you want to tell me. Wait, are you happy for me? Bitch, are you happy for me?
It's a lot of bitches getting thrown around on this album. Bitch this, bitch that. What the fuck got into Kendrick? Well, he did say he's more Kodak black than pro-black, so I'm guessing this is a change that we're getting.
Why they tongues and rap lyrics scared to be crucified by the song, but they won't admit it politically correct.
I agree with you on the politically correct part. You know what I mean? A lot of people want to be politically correct out here. That's not me. But the rap lyrics though, I think some niggas should just fall back on that. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Prayed to Pfizer for relief. Then I caught COVID and started to question Kyrie. Will I stay hurt in this bed for 2 weeks?
What? This song was definitely made recently. You know, we all been questioning Kyrie. You know, I've been questioning Kyrie because I'm a KD fan. Ever since KD got to the Brooklyn Nets, we just been going downhill. I've been questioning him for a long time, so I'm glad me and you here, Kendrick. I'm glad me and you here.
Are you happy for me? Bitch, are you happy for me?
Are they ever really happy for you?
And they like to wonder where I've been, protecting my soul in the valley of silence.
Oh, I agree with that so much. I rubbed elbows with people that was for the people, and they all greedy. He rubbed elbows with the niggas that y'all admire, and they all just want the same thing. Like in this track that Kendrick is doing to Charles Barkley. You know, I'm not a role model. I'm gonna force a lot of his listeners to come to the conclusion that you can't look to him, not him being Kendrick, but anybody that you would look up to or, you know, you admire. You can't look to them, you know, to make decisions for you. Because all throughout this album, Kendrick is explaining the problems that he has within himself. So, you know, I think this track is just letting people know that he's not the person that you think he is. He might be artistically, but as far as in his life, he has things that he has to fix as well. And he's not really the person at this moment that can lend out a helping hand to a person that is going through worse than him. I'm not your savior. He's not your savior. He's not your savior. Tupac dead, so you got to think for yourself. He's not your savior. And I like how he said being manipulative is an acquired taste. People like being in power. People like being the leader of people. But it doesn't seem like Kendrick feels the same way as far as that. He likes to think for himself. He likes to move on his own accord. You know, 5 years. I like this track a lot. I like all three introspective verses from Kendrick. But Baby Keem is the reason again why I don't love this track. I feel like the hook was kind of flat and weak. I like Sam Dude's contribution to the track. Very minimal, but sufficient. But yeah, overall good track. Track 6, Auntie Diaries. It's getting cold in this bitch.
My auntie is a man now. I think I'm old enough to understand now. Bravado, scratching the lights from Lotto, hoping that she pull up tomorrow so I can hang out in the front seat. No telling. Niggas always been jealous because he had more women, more money and more attention and more influence. Back when it was comedic relief to say faggot. Faggot, 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 we ain't know no better.
Oh, elementary kids with no filter, however. Okay. I did want to hear what he said after that.
Person I say rap, that's when my life had changed. House full of them.
I'm mid-song right now, and I really didn't want to stop it, but this is just genius storytelling once again from Kendrick. The perspective he's rapping from, he can't even think about putting himself in that person's shoes, but he's basically just laying it out on the line of how he feels and how he felt at the time all this was going down, and you know, what other people's outlook of how having a transgender aunt was, and, you know, explaining everything that went into that and how people treated him at school and how everybody else's outlook on him was because he had a family member that was transgender.
Favor and following my auntie with the same behavior. Demetrius is Marianne now. My good cousin, I knew exactly who he was, but I still loved him. Demetrius is Marianne.
I know I'm not too serious on this channel often, but, you know, I just want to say, you know, be yourself. If you don't take anything from me, I would just say be yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you. You're going to be way happier like that, I promise you, rather than hiding behind this mask that you're scared that somebody's going to take off and finally reveal your secrets.
Should we love thy neighbor? The laws of the land that our heart was greater. I recognize the
flipped it on them.
I chose humanity over religion. The family got closer, it was all forgiven. I still can count my brother fan no stage to rap, but disapproved the word that she couldn't say with me. You said Kendrick ain't no room.
Oh, I remember that.
In fact, we could say it together, but only if you let a white girl say nigga.
Just me being an appreciator of art and me being an artiste myself, not artist, artiste. I have no opinion on this matter, on this song, other than that it was amazing. And his storytelling is the best, some of the best I ever heard. He's just showing us again what he does best, in my opinion. The way he starts this song is just like, yep, we here. My auntie is a man now. Like, he didn't give us no warning at all. But then as the story progresses, you get not one perspective, not two perspectives, but you get three perspectives in one song from Kendrick, talking about a topic that a lot of other rappers wouldn't even care to touch on. This is another example of why he's one of the greatest to ever do this, because he's doing things that other people are not even thinking about doing. He didn't have to do this. He didn't have to do this song at all, but he wanted to get a point across to us of how he feels about certain situations. And this song wrapped that up perfectly of how he feels about this. And this song really just shows you how close to home this situation is for Kendrick. He came to understand the changes that his family members were going through at that time. Decent production, great song. Track 7, Mr. Morale, featuring Tana Leon. I meant to check out Tana Leon's album, but I just didn't get the time to do it. What you running from?
Transformation, I must have 1,000 lives and like 3,000 wives. You should know that I'm slightly off, writing off deep. Every thought is creative. Sometimes I'm afraid of my open mind. No one to call.
I like that.
I think about Robert Kelly. If he want molested, I want to hear fight for Felly. I want to hear Boba from Closure.
Who the fuck else would say that? But that is true though. Like would he still go through that? Like would he still do that shit? You know what I'm saying?
The struggle with addiction, then watching her firstborn make $1 million, and both of them off the grid for forgiveness.
Talk that shit, nigga. It's time to heal. Say,
this track is just too much, bro. The connections that Kendrick makes in his albums, like Baby Keem just did an interlude talking about his mom on drugs, and now Kendrick is on here talking about how his cousin struggled with addiction and watched her firstborn make $1 million, which is Baby Keem. Like Kendrick wasn't lying when he said there's a lot of shit on his mind and it's heavy. Like he literally letting it all out on this album. Like we're not gonna see him for another 10 to 12 years. Bro, this shit is amazing. I didn't like the production like that on this track. It's really been hit or miss production for me. I like a lot of the production, but some of the production, it just feel like it isn't finished, or he was just going in a totally different direction. It was cool, but it's not really my style of music that I would go for. I like that the whole focus of this track was molestation. He brings up Oprah, brings up the rappers in the industry, that they hide behind violence to hide what really happened. Yeah, he said it, not me. Like, he really used Tyler Perry as the face for that, as a face for the rappers that are hiding behind the violence. Damn, this is a really thought-provoking track from Kendrick, being that it sounds like an idea that was greatly put together but wasn't finished because he doesn't have the answers to all these questions. A lot of the substance in this track is more of like open-ended questions, like, you know, would R. Kelly still do it? You know, if he didn't get molested, we don't know. You can just see how his mind works throughout this project, and you know how creative he is. It's so many layers to pull back from this. I don't think you're ever really gonna get to the center until you talk to Kendrick. So I like how he just leaves it open for us to interpret anything that we want. Track 8, Mother I Sober. More pianos, man. You about to make me cry.
Everybody, transformation, then reciprocation. Karma must return. Heal myself, secrets that I hide. Hands on her, it was family ties. I heard it all. I should have grabbed a gun, but I was only 5. I still feel transformation. You ain't felt grief till you felt it sober. Remember looking in the mirror, knowing I was gifted, only child, me for 7 years, everything for Christmas. Did he touch you, Kendrick? Never lied, but no one believed me when I said he didn't. Frozen moments, still holding on it. Till my lawyer told me not to be so hard on myself. He has an aura I hope to achieve if I find some help. Did he touch you? I said no again. Still they didn't believe me. Mother's brother said he got me.
How are you this good at storytelling? This is already one of the best tracks that I've heard all year. I think this may be the best song. I might be mistaking that for being the most personal, but the writing on here, the vulnerability on this track, this is just different because he's letting us into a space where we've never even really gotten a peek into. We've never gotten this close to Kendrick's home, his safe space, you know, where he relaxes, where he's able to just let loose. I feel like this song is special in itself because he's sharing something that, you know, we've never heard. We've never heard an inkling of this. Even with using that last song just for a bridge to come into this song. Like, he talked about R. Kelly. He talked about rappers in the last song. He's one of those rappers that couldn't let it out. You know, he was the Tyler Perry. And it's so crazy, man, because the way he structures these songs, you would never think that it's going to come back to him, but it always does, man. And that's the greatness in his storytelling, because you don't know where he's going with the story. You just got to let it flow, and he will always end you on a good note.
I said no, but this time I lied. I knew that I can fix it. Pure soul, even in her pain. Affected 20 years later. Trauma has resurfaced, amplified. As I write this song, I share it cause I'm nervous.
This is fucking special. This is reminding me when I first heard Sing About Me, Dying to Thirst. Like, that song made me cry when I first heard it. I was so young when I heard it, but this song is definitely giving me that feeling. Like, I'm kind of choking up right now listening to this. I definitely feel the authenticity that comes through on this track, man. Like, you can't fake this. He makes it look so good. He makes it sound so good, but it's so much beneath what Kendrick is saying right now. And it's kind of scary because even though he's disclosing a lot of information to us that we weren't privy to before, you can tell he's still holding some things back, and you know, I can only imagine what those things are.
Secrets, every other rapper sexually abused. I see them daily, burying they pain in chains and tattoos. So listen close, before keep our bodies sacred as I set free all your abusers. This is transformation.
I'm still bobbing my head, ain't I?
Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Mommy.
This is one of Kendrick Lamar's best songs ever, in my opinion. It's because he's shown a different side of his artistry, showing a different side of him as a man. You can tell it's been something that he wanted to get off his chest for years. Same as a lot of things on this project. That's gonna be a track that I go back to just so I can appreciate what this album is as a whole. Because I feel like that's gonna be the one for me that I go back to and be like, man, this was the one on that Kendrick Lamar album that brought me closer to him as a person. Because that's what I was reaching for on this project. I needed something to bring me a little bit closer to Kendrick. This song definitely hits me. I didn't think it would hit me as hard as it did if he did have a song on here like this. Track 9. Mirror. You fucking destroyed me, Kendrick.
Lately I redirected my point of view.
Oh yeah?
I chose me on slide.
Me too. Me too, Kendrick.
Point a finger just to point a finger, cause critical thinking is a deal breaker. Faith in one man is a ship sinking. Do yourself a favor. I'm too busy building mine. I chose me, I'm sorry.
This song just makes me think again that we're not going to see Kendrick for another few years because he's reiterating the same point again, just the same thing he's doing with the therapy thing. And he's constantly working on himself, trying to become a better man. But he's also making it clear that, you know, I'm not a role model because he's saying I redirected my point of view. You know what I mean? He's not on the conscious wave anymore. You know, him mentioning his daughter. I think I heard him mention him having a newborn within this project, but it's been so much that he said in this album, I can't even fucking remember. I feel like one of the most important lines he said on this album was said on this track right here. Running from the culture, you know, to follow my heart. That's giving me what this album is. You know, he followed his heart with this album. This is what I feel like he always wanted to do. He always wanted to go in this lane of, you know, live music and a 60s, 70s style of instrumentation while speaking about the personal things that make him who he is and, you know, made him not who he was. I just want to thank Kendrick, and that's not me being on dick, being biased, nothing. You know what I'm saying? I really do want to thank him because, you know, it's been 5 years and he gave us a double album. He gave us a lot of music, which a lot of people was asking for. I would have been mad if he gave us like 10 tracks, 11 tracks. I didn't ask for a double album, but he followed through with his promise. You know, he didn't really promise it to us, but, you know, he showed 2 discs, and that was a promise to me. This whole album felt like a live band performance. Not the whole album, especially like N95 and, you know, what was another track? Silent Hills, Die Hard. Those are really the only tracks that I can say didn't really have any live band instrumentation inside the production. You know, everything else was pretty much, you know, free flowing. It sounded like they weren't really in the studio, but they were. And I want to say I appreciate that about this album and all albums that have live instrumentation because I know how hard that is, especially with the beat switches that went into this project and the layering of production. The way he was taking things out of production, but also dropping them in. Even with the production being so slow and somber and atmospheric, I didn't get bored of the overall sound of it all. Kendrick kept me intrigued throughout the whole project. Even with a lot of breaks in the music, even with a lot of dips here and there. I know I'm gonna have a lot to say about this album in videos to come and years to come. So I actually want to sit with it. I feel like it would be kind of disrespectful to Kendrick to give a review off the bat. 18 songs of Kendrick, bro. Like, God, he gave us a lot of music. Like, I'm gonna be listening to this shit for months because I'm actually a Kendrick fan that wants to create their own theories in their mind about what he meant by this, what he meant by that. I feel like that's one of the great things about Kendrick as an artist. There's so many ways you can interpret this. You can interpret what he meant by this. Out of the 3 things I talked about in my expectations video, I at least got one of them things, and that was he let us in that door that we've been locked out of for 5 years. You know, we know everything now. Like I said, I'm gonna be listening to this shit for a long time, trying to see what Kendrick was trying to tell us, trying to tell me. But off first listen, I do have some gripes that I can kind of point out. I didn't like any of Baby Keem's contribution to this album. He just felt a little out of place in my opinion, and he sounded a little bit too much like Kendrick on certain points. Songs on here like Die Hard and Rich Spirit, you know, I wasn't really feeling that much. It was cool in my opinion, but not up to the par of where I hold Kendrick. I'm not really one of those people that's gonna have expectations at a level where, you know, I know Kendrick can't reach. I'm just really judging him off his past efforts. My favorite features on here was Sanford. Even though I didn't like the Die Hard track like that, Blast went off. Summer Walker, man. Ooh. Yak showed his ass on here. He did what he was supposed to do. Favorite tracks for me, N95, Father Time. We Cry Together was, oh my, Taylor Page. She deserved an Oscar for that performance. Count Me Out was crazy. Silent Hill, that's the only one that got me up out of my chair. Auntie Diaries, Mother I Sober. Like, he got some joints on here that I fuck with that I'm gonna go back to a lot. It's probably gonna be a lot more that I go back to when I listen to it a second time. I know I keep saying that, but I just gotta let it be known. This is first listen for Kendrick Lamar. I really want to take this time to appreciate a song like Savior. Take some balls to come out and say what he said. You know, I know it doesn't seem like that, you know, from an audience point of view, but saying this to people that held you to a high regard your whole career, it could be career ending for some people. You know what I mean? But it's not for Kendrick because, like he said, he's just being honest with us. I definitely look at him as a person that, you know, I admire and that I respect in the craft of music. His album is just another example of why I do that, because I don't respect a lot of people. But yeah, man, shit, that's Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Definitely a tough listen. A tough listen in that it's going to make you think, even though this is the most direct Kendrick has been on this project. This is the album like I've been waiting for all year. I'm not even going to be excited for no other albums. Well, I'm going to be excited for Travis, but that's about it. Anybody else, I'm not going to be that excited. This took all the excitement juice out of me. Let me know what y'all think about the album. I really want to know what y'all think. You know how we do it. Like the video, if you like the video. If you want to subscribe. I'm here. That was Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I love y'all. Again, I'm going to keep saying that because I really do. But yeah, I'm out. Be gone. Yeeehhhh.